How you doing, Metal Summoners? It is so great to be with you guys, as always, kicking off the weekend in the middle of the week. This is your Island of Misfit Toys. We greatly appreciate you guys each and every week rocking out with us, showing us a lot of love, and showing all of our amazing guests equally, if not more, amazing love when it comes to all their projects and everything that they get involved with. So we are, as always, myself is Jay, and this is Angel Alamo, and we are going to jump right into it. We are very, very excited. I reached out to these guys. I've been following them for a little bit, was hearing about their latest single, which we'll get right into. And I love what they do, their style, their look, and their stage execution. And I think you guys are really going to like them as well. So we would very much here like to welcome Deadsled Funeral Company. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time this evening, and welcome to the Metal Summit.
Hello, thank you for having us. We're grateful to be here, man.
Awesome, man. Absolutely, gents. Thank you so much. First and foremost, please introduce yourself to the fans.
Well, I'm going first.
Yes.
All right. Hey, my name's Wraith. I'm the guitarist in Deadsled Funeral Company.
And I am Bone Ghazi, the singer in Deadsled Funeral Company.
And we're missing our third counterpart. We're a three-piece. Our bass player and co-vocalist is at another job right now.
He's embalming the bodies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
But that is Belmont Lugosi.
No.
Yeah.
Nice. That is awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your evening to talk with us. So first and foremost, let's jump right into the newest single, Boy Dahlia. It's been out for a couple of weeks now officially. How has been the reception, and how has it felt for you gentlemen getting it out into the world?
So the reception has been it's been very well. We've definitely been on the incline as far as releases go. It has been well received, and it's just another piece to the visual and sounding puzzle of Deadsled. So
Another element of story building out there.
Yeah,
definitely been received better than the debut single. We put a lot more time and effort into the like pre-release campaign for this one. Took a lot more time doing like market research and studying different ways to go about promoting the single before it's actually out into the world, so that when it drops, people are already anticipating it, expecting it, have gotten a little sneak peeks and tastes here and there, kind of know what to expect, but don't know what to expect. And like I said a moment ago, just building anticipation towards it so that when it finally releases right out the gate, it's coming in strong with getting the digital numbers up all over the streaming sites, because that's, it's just a numbers game, man. That's really, when it comes down to it, that's what it's all about, at least on the musical aspect of things. As far as once you've created your song and you're past the point of production and writing and you're just putting it out into the world, it's just purely a numbers game. So knowing your audience, knowing the market, doing your research, knowing how to promote, and constantly learning and staying humble in that process of realizing that there is never too much information to be learned and you will never know enough.
Absolutely, 100%. So when it comes to the creating of the songs, talk a little bit about the songwriting process. I mean, I love the song. I think it's absolutely dynamite, as well as the other previous singles that you guys had put out as well. But when it comes to just creating the songs, like, how do you guys tend to work? Do you work like music driven first with like riffs? Do you go lyrically based, or do you just kind of come together collectively and be like, hey, I kind of have this idea for the concept of a song. How do you guys think we can build it? What's a little bit peek behind the curtain of the songwriting process of Deadsled?
Well, I think we should just go in order with that. Start with you and then transition into me.
So personally, with songwriting, and like any time I write any song, it'll start off with the bare bones. I write everything on an acoustic guitar first, and that's because whenever I am going to write, it's very melody driven. So it'll start off with usually just root notes and just the general structure of a song, and then after that I'll put vocal melodies over it and then present it to the guys to add their own spices to it, and then from there we'll work on it collectively and subjectively.
Yeah, everything as you just said, everything kind of starts with just the bare bones, basically chords and melody. I would imagine that beyond personal experiences being a very obvious influence on a lot of the songs that are written for the band, that just a lyrical idea can often inspire or motivate the rest of an entire song to be written based on a single concept. But once we get past the stage of the bare bones of just having chords and melody, what our experience has been so far is getting in the room together and kind of trying to force a rehearsal, sort of trying to, okay, here are the chords, let's mess with the strumming patterns of these chords and riffs, and then, you know, from there, just actually physically playing the instruments in the room together, making sure everyone has a part to play. That's not, you know, if there's just power chords on the guitar and the bassist isn't just playing root notes the whole time, etc. From there, just kind of hammering it out in the rehearsal studio, playing it live for a while, and then the next step in the evolution from there is once we have the rhythms and the structure and the strumming patterns down. I spend a lot of time just notating everything on my computer, and then that's when we move it into the production phase. So in addition to just your rhythm guitar solo sections, stuff like that, like adding the other spices such as intense vocal harmonies, layering of other vocal stuff, maybe a counterpoint melody, different layers as far as like keys or organs or strings or some kind of synthesizers, et cetera, et cetera. So everything starts really simple, you know, typically just with Bongazi on an acoustic guitar, and then it shifts into us physically playing some very, very rough version of the song in the room together. And then from there, it's me spending way too many hours in front of a screen, notating every little thing so I can hear each part all together and then kind of just really produce the song. Like our first single, Dove Horns, was for a long time, for months, it was just rhythm guitar, drums, bass, and vocals, and that was it. And once it went to the production phase, there ended up being like strings, other guitar layers, a bunch of vocal layers, some keys and synthesizer layers, and then same thing with Boy Dahlia. That one ended up having a lot of layers that if you're not listening with earbuds, you almost don't even notice they're there. You're feeling them more than hearing them, but there's a lot going on production-wise with that one.
Very cool. That's super duper rad. And a few days ago, you guys kicked off the month with a show in Baton Rouge. How did your most recent show go?
It was fucking sick.
Yeah, that was excellent. There was definitely a sizable crowd there. The venue, Chelsea's Live in Baton Rouge, treated us very well. They're a very professional, well-run venue. The sound team was easy to work with. The hospitality was great. Their green room is very comfortable. And then the headliners who run that monthly event, their monthly Baton Rouge emo night there, were very, very nice to us, and they also treated us very well. And after the show, they seemed very happy with our performance and our crowd interaction, and seemed impressed with it, and said they definitely want us back soon. So,
yeah,
great way to start July.
Tough Ass Garrett, shout out. But yeah, no, it was really good. Especially to kind of embellish on that, playing a city that we've never played collectively as a band before. It was really good, and it is an emo night, so there were a lot of covers in there, but also the originals were well received. And that's always a good thing, you know.
Yeah, we saw some people on the front row singing Boy Dahlia back at us, which was very, very good to see, very fulfilling to see.
Absolutely. I can only imagine how good something like that is going to feel, especially to a song that's pretty brand new, and having people latch on it that fast that they're going to sing it back to you right away at a show.
Definitely. We absolutely do. Like the fan base that we are building is a very loyal, dedicated fan base that is excited, which is really cool. Like they're excited for the next thing. They're going to obsess over the current thing and then, you know, be eager for more. So that's always great.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, we don't necessarily own our hometown yet. Definitely, we have a very consistent amount of people that come to our shows. We can reliably draw around about 100 people per show, especially if, you know, we're performing with other bands. And we have a consistent crowd that shows up, sings their lyrics back at us, and even seems to know some of the songs that aren't even released yet, just from seeing them live so many times, which is, again, something else that's felt really good and really fulfilling to see when we're interacting with fans as far as just being in the moment, performing on stage. We also had somebody printed themselves a custom shirt for the show. They actually had our logo on a shirt they handmade specifically for that night. They made like a Deadsled emo night specific shirt, which was just very interesting, fun thing to see.
It's cool,
Standing
man.
on the front row, and you just see that, like, oh, that's not one of our shirts. That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, for sure. And since we're on the topic of shows, in a couple of days, you guys have your next show, I believe, correct, on July 7th.
Yes.
Yep, this Friday.
Yep, we're playing at the Goat New Orleans.
Nice.
Very stoked for that. I used to play that venue a lot back in the day. It's a really kind of, it has that punk rock vibe, smaller, so it's more intimate. And I'm actually very, very excited to play that show.
Yeah, it's a small venue, but it's one of the cooler venues in New Orleans for sure. The decor in there is very like Bongazi said, very punkish meets Halloween vibes meets heavy metal vibes. It's just very dark, low light in there. All of the indoors, from what I remember the last time I was there, is just blacked out. It's just black everything. It's just a really good atmosphere. So it's a really good vibe. It's a fun place to be.
And who are we playing with on this show?
Playing with fucking Boyd Lafayette. Boyd from Lafayette. I guess the best way to describe them would be authentic 80s thrash metal. But they're all really young cats. They're all really killer, really young, younger than any of us, and probably the premier metal band coming out of Lafayette right now, and one of the bigger metal bands coming out of Louisiana right now. One of my favorites as far as local acts go, for sure.
Very cool, very cool, absolutely. So before we get in a little bit to, like, you know, Deadsled Funeral Company and styles and performance and the look and everything, because I know the fans are definitely going to be interested, we're going to kick it up to Angel and the Metal Summoners and let them talk a little bit and ask you guys some questions.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Okay, I like this question. That's a fabulous man you got there. What's your go-to hair product?
Oh Lord, it changes almost on a month-by-month basis because I like to try new things. But I guess I'm a big fan of Elvive brand shampoo and conditioner and Bedhead brand hairspray.
Bedhead is nice.
Yeah,
Nice,
this
nice
is certainly
choice.
not Bedhead, but it's the brand name. It's their call sign. And thank you to
Can you
whoever
repeat?
said that in the chat. What was that?
Can you repeat what conditioner you use again? Can you repeat what conditioner you use?
I change products pretty regularly, like once every month or two, but I do find myself going back to the Elvive brand a lot.
I was asking for me because I got the worst
Hell
luck
yeah.
with conditioners.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
gotta just be very careful to only put it in and then make sure it all gets rinsed out.
Bedhead.
Yeah, I just hate it. I just hate when you brush it and the hair is just like pulling out a little bit. I fucking hate that. Jay doesn't hate it, but I do.
Yeah, that's a sign. That's a sign of a need of change in your hair care routine. That's happening for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes just introducing
as
new
long
products
as-
can fix that.
That's definitely one I'll definitely try. 'Cause I got the worst luck with conditioners.
Oh, and I think we might have got cut off.
Another fan question.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
If you could set up your dream show, hold on one second. If you could set up your own dream show, who would it be?
Ooh.
Oh man.
I'll go and then you go.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just do this. So we're gonna say it's a 3-band lineup, and we're the headliner. So who's opening for us?
Oh no.
You want to do it like that way?
I'm just gonna
We're gonna be openers for 2 other bands.
I'm gonna do It Comes From the Heart.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say right now, us opening up for Taylor Swift.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, that'll be the largest crowd we've ever been in front of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We play with Taylor Swift. We can even it would be
We'll
like
convert all of her fans.
Convert her
into
fans.
goths.
Yes, but that way we can budget in a good stage setup for it.
Absolutely.
And we're playing a huge show.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're opening for Taylor Swift, we probably have a guarantee of like to $20,000 at that point.
Probably
at least.
At
least.
Yes.
She does fill stadiums.
So that'd be my dream show because she's the biggest touring act right now on this planet as far as I'm concerned.
That is quite literally true. Yeah, I can't actually fathom being in front of a crowd that big. Like,
give it to me.
Yeah, I would love that. Gonna go off on a tangent for a sec, with people still. Taylor Swift is taking down the stream. Oh, everybody's back.
Okay. $20,000.
Going off on a bit of a tangent here, but yeah, I'm asked a lot if I get nervous before shows, and with a few exceptions here and there, like if we get to open for an artist that I'm particularly a big fan of, that might make me a little nervous. But beyond that, the answer is honestly no. And there have been times where I've been asked that specifically before performing in front of a very large crowd, and my answer during those times is definitely not, because for me, I find that the bigger the crowd, the larger the room, the less nervous I feel and the more into the moment I feel. If there's a large crowd, typically they feed off of each other better than in a smaller room with a smaller crowd, and it honestly just makes it a lot easier. So, playing in front of a stadium of people to me would honestly feel a lot better and a lot more relaxed than going out and performing in front of, 150 people at a bar venue. Anyway, back to the dream show thing. My answer would probably be, God, I don't know. If we're being headliners and we have some openers, I guess realism doesn't really have to come into play.
I just said Taylor Swift.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm thinking too critically about this. I'm trying to come up with almost like a perfectly genre matched realistic answer, but I guess like us with Avatar and Avenged Sevenfold.
No way. Dude.
Or us with Avenged Sevenfold and Korn.
I thought you were supposed to ask for someone with Avatar, just changing the names.
Oh yeah, no.
But yeah, Korn would be sick, dude.
Or maybe playing with MCR would be good too. Like if we could get like Avenged Sevenfold, MCR, and Deadsled all in the same bill, that would almost be like the same genre, exactly 3 sets in a row. But
yeah,
it's like slightly more intensifying guitar as the night goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of those lineups would be really good. MCR
or
Avatar, those are good.
Okay,
I think would pair well with.
I think also too, like for a not ridiculous one, more genre appropriate. I would love to open up for Slipknot.
Yeah, I can see that working. Like
Slipknot will work.
Slipknot plays really long sets, and obviously they're just balls to the wall, super aggressive, heavy the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So having a little bit of a pre-palate cleanser of a not super balls to the wall heavy band, but that's still aesthetically dark as fuck.
It's like stretching
really makes
before
sense.
Fighting or something,
Yeah, exactly. And we do have some high energy songs that get people moving. I mean, for sure, we've seen plenty of mosh pits start at our shows, but we definitely don't sound like Slipknot. But I think aesthetically and instrumentally, with the guitar work and the fast drums, that could work. That could logically work. I can see that. And again, you're playing a fucking Slipknot. It's going to be a very interactive, very energetic crowd. So I love it. It's a good one.
I would definitely personally love to see you guys play with Wednesday 13. I'm a big fan of his, and I just
I worked a bunch of Wednesday shows at House of Blues. I used to talk to, damn it, what's his name? He was a drummer. His dad's a drummer for Journey. He's not in the band anymore. His name's Kyle.
Oh, hey, our bassist is in the chat right now. He just said open for Ghost
or Creeper. Open for Ghost or Creeper. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, no, Wednesday would be definitely appropriate. I really enjoy their shows.
Shout out to Belmont Lugosi, bassist of Deadsled Funeral Company, in the chat right now.
Or Misfits.
Or that's a good one. Misfits. Yeah. That could work.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, Ghost would be a good pairing as well. They have a really loyal following, and again, they have a kind of like Slipknot, really interactive crowd. It seems like from the footage I've seen of their live shows that their crowds are like, they love to move and sing the words back and just really be into the moment. So
they were also,
I think we could easily feed that kind of crowd, and that kind of crowd would feed well off of us.
Yeah, Ghost is definitely one of those that inspired me personally to do the theatrics as well and have it be well received to a big audience. It'll be full circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that working well. Well, we ended up not only answering that question, but pretty much setting up shows for a week's worth of performance. I mean,
So hit us up.
Yeah,
everyone.
let's. You know what? Korn,
But-
Avatar, Avenged Sevenfold, Ghost, hit us up. We'll work something out with you. You know,
We'll see what
Taylor
we can do.
Swift.
we'll see what we can do for you.
You need rock and roll in your show. So there you have it.
Fuck yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
All the country girls to goth girls.
Right. I mean,
We won't
opening
date
for like a
you,
band
but-
like Avenged Sevenfold. That's. Oh, sorry, Angel. Go ahead, bro. Say that again.
No, I was saying that we won't date you, but you can have them open for you.
Exactly.
There
There you go.
Right.
Absolutely,
That'll be another
100%.
song.
Yeah.
Do you have any
No, definitely.
rituals you do before a show?
Pre-show rituals, personally, I just hop around a lot because I have terrible stage fright. I get so nervous. It does not matter if it's 10 people, 10,000 people. It's actually, so it's really funny. I don't even know if I've ever told you this, but every single time y'all go out on stage
Mm-hmm.
and I'm waiting, you know,
Right, because we'll start with an instrumental.
yeah. And then I'll
intro
come out
to a
like
song.
after, like, you know how vocalists do, yada, yada. Every single time y'all are fucking jamming, I'm
Mhm.
like, shit, dude, I really kind of have to do this now, huh? I'll set myself
So,
up.
all right, I got my 30 extra seconds of not being out there.
Yeah, but yeah, no,
It's a
just
crucial 30 seconds to take the deepest breaths.
yeah, psyching myself out. That's my pre-show ritual: being nervous and wanting to shit my fucking dick off. What's yours?
Yeah, I don't think we really have any rituals as a band. We were actually at Chelsea's this weekend in the green room. We were talking about starting to initiate and figure out some pre-show rituals.
Mhm.
More so just of the logical concern of warming up. We're talking about having a specific.
Hang tight with us for a second, Metal Summoners. It looks like we might have gotten a freeze for a quick second.
Okay, there it goes.
Oh, there we go. We're back.
There we go.
Anyway, we don't really have any group rituals, I guess. But personally, me, like I get fully dressed, get the stage outfit on as soon as sound check and everything is done, so that I can just kind of like stand there in the garb and like feel the I guess just the feeling of, okay, we're about to go on stage, and just kind of put myself in the mindset of like, all right, I'm already on stage. I'll just like close my eyes, I'll tape in my in-ear monitors and just kind of sit there with my guitar and just like play whatever lead licks I'm going to play throughout the night over and over and over. So really just warming up, you know. But I do think we'll probably start introducing a bit of a group warm-up session as a pre-show ritual starting over the next few weeks.
Honestly, though, I think that putting the makeup on is a pre-show ritual.
Didn't y'all do it together and you always laugh?
We
Yeah.
always do it together. I talk shit to everyone, and you know, try and bring them down a few pegs, and then they talk shit back to me, and I get all upset. And it's great. It's a great time. But yeah, so makeup, that would be a pre-show ritual.
Yeah, I guess it kind of is. You know, that's usually a one moment. Even though we are still like, getting ready, it is still part of the setup process.
It is, man.
It is a moment where we're all kind of just relaxed, like we're just sitting on the couch or standing in front of a mirror, just doing something by muscle memory that we're used to doing anyway. So it's kind of a moment to just get comfortable and, like Bongazi said, just kind of talk shit and laugh and
And I have to
quit
wrangle,
worrying about performing for a moment and just worry about looking good.
I have to wrangle you cats to get in the fucking chair to do airbrush. That's a fucking ritual.
So we can turn into beignet boys.
Beignet boy.
Well, that's a great inside joke that literally no one knows about. But whenever we get our like the white base of our makeup done with a spray brush,
It's
we're just from like hairline to chin, we're just completely solid white and don't have any of the like lipstick or eyeliner or anything else on. So we kind of look like
beignets.
the Joaquin Phoenix Joker before he finished putting his makeup on in the Joker movie, and we call each other beignet boys because we just look like powdered donuts.
Fucking great. But yeah.
Jen,
Any
we'll
more
kick it
fan
right up
questions?
to you because of the background.
Yeah, no, absolutely, for sure. So the one thing I think is great to discuss and talk about when it comes to your stage show, like you were talking about the makeup and the personas that you guys put out and that you embody when you're performing for your fans. The thing I also think is very, very cool is that you are a band from New Orleans. And I kind of am curious, like, does where you're from play into the band in any way? Do you feel that you could be Deadsled Funeral Company if you guys were from LA or Vegas or even like Wyoming?
Yeah, absolutely so. But
Everything at its core comes from within our personalities and who we are.
yeah.
But
as far as the lore and stuff and the aesthetics of it goes, a little background on Old Bongazi is that I'm a special effects artist for haunted attractions. I've been doing that for about 10 years now. And I've always wanted to, and going back to like whenever I wanted to make a band, I wanted to make a band that not only sounded good, but looked good. And it was an actual show. And kind of just taking all the mediums that I know to do and putting it into one, making it, you know, Deadsled Funeral Company. With that, I really had the motivation to have this mythological band that hails from New Orleans and kind of just lurks around the cemeteries of New Orleans because we're known for our beautiful cemeteries. And I love New Orleans to bits, you know. I mean, I grew up here, well, south of New Orleans I grew up. But coming here all the time, there's just that air about it. There's just that mystique, and it's so strange. And just trying to capture that like lightning in a bottle is what, you know, the motivation is. And basically, as far as stage setups and the theatrical scale, I want it to be like, well, we'll have a few themes, but like the main one would be just like you're visiting a New Orleans cemetery at night, and we're serenading you, you know? Make that into a fucking cologne. So yeah, I feel like it'd be very difficult.
Deadsled Funeral Cologne.
It'd be very different, but all artists thrive absolutely wherever they are and their environments they'll adapt to. It just so happens this environment is New Orleans, and it's one of the best environments for what we're doing.
Absolutely, it is very conducive to the style that we desire to perform, and the imagery and the cult of personality and the I guess just the backstory and aura that we are trying to cultivate, or that we are cultivating. This environment, the city is definitely very conducive to that, because it's kind of known for being a spooky, haunted, dark aesthetic city that does literally physically have lots of beautiful cemeteries. So it's kind of this interesting beauty and the macabre thing going on in the city already.
And you know, sorry to cut you off, but it's really funny too, and a lot of motivation that I have with that as well is that no one has ever truly portrayed New Orleans besides like Anne Rice with Interview with the Vampire, Queen of the Damned stuff. But besides that, New Orleans is such a beautiful gem that I feel like it's hard for people that aren't from here, like Hollywood South, that tries to come here and, you know, do their rendition of New Orleans. And like, kudos to you for doing that, but no one hits the nail on the head with it. So I feel like having an entity, a driving entity that can also bring true, spooky, dark New Orleans to you is a big motivation aesthetically.
Oh, absolutely. The only other thing I was going to say about the whole New Orleans location question is just that technically what we're doing can be done anywhere. And like I said right off the bat, answering that question, was the core of what we're doing comes from who we are, and everything that we do is motivated from within, most of all. But certainly the location that we're in has a strong impact. And I also think for outsiders, for people that are from, you know, other parts of the country or our international fans, definitely it creates expectations and also kind of creates an aura of mystique that kind of naturally works in our favor. So definitely where we're located has a nothing but a positive impact in addition to just having a practical impact.
Absolutely, 100% for sure. And it's important to have that kind of connection with not only where you're from, but also how you kind of connect to your area, because it's going to come out on stage with the, the feeling, the performance, and like the way that it ties in, whether it's whether it's macabre or whether it's more straight, just preppy. It really doesn't really matter. I mean, however you connect your art to your home or yourselves, especially your band members, it all definitely works well when it comes to that kind of stuff, for sure. 100%. And the next thing I wanted to ask, Rath, I wanted to ask you is a little bit of a rig rundown, because we're big gear nerds, me especially. But the one thing I think is super cool for anybody who's seen your videos is you have a super rad guitar, and I'd love for you to talk about it for a minute.
Hey, thank you. Well, the guitar itself is ESP Ltd. It's the EC1000. Weirdly enough, it's really common on the market. I see them for sale in almost every music shop, music retailer. They're easy to come by online, but oddly enough, I have only ever once actually seen another band where another guitarist is playing that same model. So it seems like you see them in homes and in studios a lot, but you don't see a lot of people performing with them.
Wait, which band is that?
Some band from Shreveport when I was like 14. Yeah, like it's been that long since I've even seen anybody playing one.
Interesting. So unique.
Yeah, but it's funny because I don't think, when I look at it, I don't think it's a particularly unique looking model on its own, but I don't see them a lot in person among other bands. So beyond that, just the visual of it, I do have that little cross that's hand painted and been hand distressed to match the gold and matte black hardware on the guitar. That is a custom edition. It certainly does not come with that cross. That's a little wooden cross I got at a Walmart, hand painted and distressed myself. And I just use a little piece of blue painter's tape to keep it on there. Like, it's nothing fancy holding it on there. Gear wise, I'm using an amp head that's not available on the market anymore. It's a Line 6 and Bogner collaboration. It's a tube amp called the Spider Valve Mark II, which Line 6 is a brand that very commonly gets shit on, and people tend to make fun of Line 6 users and be like, oh, you're using Line 6, no wonder your tone is shit, or like, oh, you probably have shit tone. And almost everyone that I've dealt with in the professional realm that does have a bias against Line 6, by the time sound check is over, they're going, God, dude, your tone's great. So like, I'm just gonna pat myself on the back with that one a little bit, but it is kind of an odd, like, it's an odd dichotomy, I guess, that with having that brand name slapped across that amp head, a lot of people expect the tone to not be great or that it's not a good piece of gear, but it's one of the few things that Line 6 did just absolutely right. They really killed it with their collaboration with Bogner and making an excellent tube amp. We could really go really deep with the rig rundown question. Like, I love that question. First of all, we have a rack system with a whole bunch of gear in it that I put together myself. Because in addition to, just dealing with the guitar rig stuff, I do also run like our backtracks and our mixer for when we're dealing with our in-ear monitor mixes and just running backtracks and playing along with click tracks. Everything's run in that rack system. So we have a Behringer XR18 mixer inside of that rack. We're using a laptop that sits on top of the rack. We have a whole bunch of other gear inside of there. I have now, as of last week, actually just before the last show, I now have a Digitech whammy pedal mounted into the rack with a MIDI cable running into it for automating certain changes on the whammy pedal. The Line 6 amp that I use has a MIDI in on it so that I can automate all of my tone changes, so I never have to use a pedal board. I never have to do any dancing on a pedal board. I can be completely free to roam the stage as much as I want, and if there's a change from a distorted sound to a clean sound, or suddenly there's a boost in volume because I'm playing a guitar solo or something, all of that just automatically switches because we're playing to click tracks that I've built in my laptop. Same thing with Belmont, our bass player. He uses a Boss multi-effects pedal.
Hello.
He runs a Boss multi-effects pedal with he uses a bunch of tone changes too, depending on what song we're playing. And I've set up automation for him as well. So all I have to do is hand him a MIDI cable. He plugs it into his effects pedal, and when we hit play on our click track, anytime there's a tone change, it lines up with mine and everything's automated. So
It's beautiful.
there's that's like a really brief oversight or overview of the rig situation, but it gets really in depth. It's a lot to keep up with. It's a lot of cables to plug in for shows. I've tried to mount everything inside the rack and with my amp to keep it as simple as possible. So we're plugging in as few things as we need to at shows and leave most things plugged in all the time. But essentially, we deal with a lot of twist ties. I deal with a lot of Velcro ties, and I deal with a lot of painter's tape to keep cables out of the way.
That's awesome.
We are running in-ear monitors. We do play-to-click tracks. We do have backing tracks on some of our songs for like synthesizers or like very, very, very little backing vocals because we like to keep vocals live. But for some of the covers that we do that have very eccentric backing vocals, like we did Beautiful People for the first time ever last weekend. We covered that song, and we had some of the backing screams that Manson does, in addition to the screams that Bongazi and Belmont were doing live. But mostly we're using backing tracks for like things that just can't be performed live, like synthesizers and keyboards and organs and shit like that.
Absolutely.
Etc.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, the rig rundown question, man. We gotta have a dedicated video for that.
Yeah. I believe it, man. But I mean, like I said, we're big gear nerds. Me, myself, like. But again, so this is my girlfriend Megan. When she hears Avenged Sevenfold, she comes running. So when you guys were like, we want to open and play with Avenged Sevenfold, she immediately showed up next to me. That's why you kept seeing me turn my head. Yeah.
Oh,
is that the death bat? Is that the death bat?
That's the
It's
Rev
the
one,
death
huh?
bat with Jimmy's head.
Jimmy.
Oh, that's sick.
His hairstyle and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Jimmy and Joey, and Joey Jordison, because you would mention Slipknot would be awesome too. That's that's her homeboy.
R.I.P. to the legends, man.
Seriously, man. Seriously, two of the greatest drummers in metal of all time.
Yep.
Yeah, we do take
100%.
a lot of instrumentally and vocally, like just overall musically speaking, and I think really in the attitude of our live shows and the way that we present ourselves as far as just our personas is definitely influenced by them. Say again?
Have you ever heard Jimmy's Fun Band? Pinkly
Are you talking about Pinkly Smooth?
Yeah,
that was him and Sinister Gates.
Yeah.
Sinister Gates did it as well.
They're very, very proggy.
That was Mr. That was our Mr. Bungle side project.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I had the pleasure to meet Jimmy.
Oh man, that's fucking cool.
He scared the shit out of me when I first met him because he's so tall.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No shit.
He's like 6'5". I'm only 5'3".
Damn, dude, that's a tall motherfucker.
I still have yet to see them live at all.
Oh, you're not gonna see them.
Oh my god, I've seen Avenged Sevenfold 6 times live.
Yeah, our bassist Belmont's a huge fan. He kind of looks like M Shadows sometimes for a sound check, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he wears aviators and a backwards ball cap like all the time. He really looks like Matt Shadows when we go sound check.
But he's got the M. He's got the M Shadow side for sound check, and then he's got the Die My Bride side for the live show.
Angel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Really?
No, but I love
the day. We kind of all look like M Shadows for sound check because half the time we're all wearing aviators and hats. To be honest, man.
A lot of people get Avenged Sevenfold shit right now because of their new album.
Listen, I give Avenged Sevenfold shit too, but honestly, Belmont, like, he really suggested a few songs. I was like, okay, I like it. I like it. It's experimental. It's weird. It's just it's not even Sevenfold you'd expect.
That's true.
That's all you have to say about that.
It's different.
Well, I haven't listened to it enough to know if I like it.
No. What was that?
It's totally different for Revenge.
Yeah, it is. But they're fucking bored, man. They've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, they can do whatever they want. It doesn't
They've been
matter.
doing it since '98, I believe.
Yeah.
Zachy's been doing his Misfits covers thing, which I'm all about because I'm a
Those are
huge
cool.
Misfits guy.
Fuck yeah. I mean, me too. Absolutely. Yeah, we got a dog here.
Yeah.
I know Brian wants to ask. I'm counting and I'm going to ask. We need 46 more guests to say Angel needs a mohawk. then he'll get one. But actually, Julio here has Mohawk. So there you go. That counts.
Be like
Oh, there
Julio,
you
though,
go.
bro. Okay.
Be like
Yeah,
Julio.
has
Mohawk, baby.
Everybody be like Julio. Get yourself a
Yeah.
There
Mohawk.
it is.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
So he's got a Mohawk.
Hell,
So
Yeah,
there you go, Brian.
Yeah, Brian's been getting on Angel for like a month now, trying to get him to cut his hair into a mohawk, and Angel's just not having it.
That's
Nope.
fair.
Now,
Thank you.
if we get 100,000 likes, I will go skydiving. Come on, that counts because I'm afraid of heights.
I'll go with
I'll
you. I'm afraid of heights too, but
I
I
can't do skydiving.
No skydiving.
Absolutely not.
For
Not worth it.
100,000
Not
likes,
worth it.
I will do skydiving. So hit that damn like button.
Dude, for
Thank you.
100,000
I
likes, we
can't do
should
skydiving. I have a heart condition. I can't.
For 100,000 likes.
fair.
We
That's
definitely
fair.
we definitely don't want that. But I'll tell you, Wrath, when you were talking about like your rig rundown and talking about line 6, I was getting a case of like the chuckles because like I know where you're talking about when it comes to that. Like, you know, my bass amp is pretty standard. My bass head is a PV because it's just kind of a road dog. But my long time just ride or die bass of mine is a Silvertone, and I
like
love it.
Silvertone.
And it's such a kind of second class like company compared to kind of what is kind of the standards now. But that thing has just been battle tested. That thing's just a road dog, and it never like lets me down. You know, as long as you're doing the right stuff, you know, you're
Right.
your strings, cleaning it out, making sure that everything's good, wiping the blood off of it. No, like
Yeah, absolutely.
like it's gonna definitely do its thing. But when you started talking about line 6, I got a chuckle out of that because every now and then I get a little bit about my bass, but it's like, yeah, but when you have it tuned right, you're in your case toned right, it's like, yeah, what do you got to say now?
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I mean, that thing's really a beast. You get the best of both worlds. You get the true like tube tone of like the killer tube amps that were so iconic in like 80s metal and hair metal. But with the customization options and the multi effects options that Line 6 offers in almost everything that they make, it's really the best of both worlds, and it is one of the few only Line 6 products that are absolutely worthy of the professional stage for sure. And hell, I mean, even the guitar I play, you know, it's an LTD. It's not like a air quotes real ESP. It's like their sub brand.
Right.
But I mean, I've had two of the same guitar. I've had two of those LTDs. The only difference between the two is the color of them. They're the finish. They're the same model. I've had two of them for almost 10 years, and you know, they're covered in belt rash and scratches from my thumb ring. But other than that, I mean, they play like brand new still.
Absolutely.
I mean, they very rarely require any setup at all.
Nice. No, I love it, man. I love that kind of stuff. I'm just a big like gear nerd, so I love like hearing about like all that kind of stuff. So let's dial it back into to Deadsled Funeral Company. We talked about your most recent show, Baton Rouge. We talked about your upcoming show. Let's talk a little bit about what your guys' plans are for the rest of the year. Of course, we know that you're big in playing out. You want to play for all the crowds forever and ever. Are you planning more singles, more videos, a full EP record? Of course, whatever it is that you're allowed to talk about.
All of the above.
Yeah, I mean, we can keep it vague, but still accurate. You know, all of the above. We're not. I will clarify. We're not going to do an EP or an album because in the state of the industry right now, and also just financially, what makes sense for us, singles is the way to go, and it's the way to keep people engaged and to keep generating new content frequently. It just makes more sense with the way that the industry and short attention spans of people nowadays because of conditioning of social media is. But I digress severely. Yeah, we got everything planned. We have on the books right now, I think at least 6 more shows that are for sure happening, and we're always open to booking more. Oh hell yeah, Annabelle making an appearance. But yeah, we got more live shows booked. We're aiming to get 2 more singles released before the end of the year, and we already have lined up plans and in order for the next like 5 or 6 after that. Music videos for each of those singles. One of our shows in August, we're having somebody do videography of that show. He's going to shoot the entire set and our crowd interaction, pre-show and post-show and everything. that we're getting way ahead of the curve there for a music video that'll be released next year. So yeah, we're always planning ahead, always thinking about, you know, what makes sense for us to continue growing and to make sure that we're keeping our audience engaged and on their toes.
It's all pieces of the puzzle that were once aligned many moons from now. Yeah. But yes, as far as like releases too, like you were saying about the EP stuff, I feel like we're definitely in an industry to where it's, you know, the attention span of people aren't that great. So it's like singles, and then compilation, you know, special bundles to release.
Yeah.
You know,
at least until we know that we're at a growth period and we're at a period in our career where it makes sense to put an album out. I mean, in our hearts and souls, we're an album band. We're album type people. That makes more sense to us as far as how music is meant to be consumed. But we have figured out a way to, you know, first of all, we're just doing what's smart. We're doing what makes sense with the state of the industry right now, doing the singles. But we've also figured out, if we're going to do that, how can we release in an order and in a way that makes them still tied together? How can we make sure that these singles are still kind of storytelling from one to the next? How can they be tied together without necessarily being tied together in title?
Aesthetically.
So again, very vague answer, but accurate nonetheless.
No. That's how it should be, vague but accurate.
No, for sure.
Because the veil of mystery and mystique on. It's not coming off today.
Nope.
No, absolutely. Because the fact of the matter is, it is a completely different world nowadays than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You know, the 2000s are different than the 2010s. You know, the 90s are different than the 2000s, and so on and so forth. But it's definitely a digital age. So it's very, you know, you really have to put like thought into that. Like, I'm currently just kind of writing for like some records of my own, and I'm juggling exactly when I get them done, how I want to put them out, just like little EPs and stuff like that. Cause it's kind of the same way. I was like, I'm not into the whole big album thing, at least not at this particular moment. And all I mean is just like, but it's just something that I have to kind of juggle around with. How do I want to do this? Is just putting it out stream style? Is that the way, let it go? Or do I want to press? Cause I'm an old school, like hard copy nerd. So there is that part of me that's just juggling the ideas of like, you know what, maybe something just reasonable, 100 little CDs for anybody who's just another hard copy nerd that cares enough about what I do to be curious, just stuff like that. But I love exactly what you said with that answer, because that's just the way it is right now. And it really is stuff that you guys just have to consider.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's definitely big when it comes to that. Let's talk a little bit about like your merch, because Angel and I really love to talk about everything, because you guys have a merch store. So we definitely want you guys to be able to plug that so that fans can shop till they drop. Because I personally am a big fan of your coffin shirt, because I'm just into like all things coffin. So I think that one's absolutely fantastic. But you also have like the Boy Dahlia shirt that you guys put out for the single and stuff like that. But
we do.
You guys definitely have a lot of fun.
Right here.
We just so happen to have the shirts right here. This is the Boy Dahlia one.
Hold on 1 second, so I can
hook them up, Angel.
That's what I'm doing. There you go. It should work now.
All right.
Boom. There we go.
This is the Boy Dahlia one. This is the front. This is the back. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, this is one of our latest merch designs here.
It is the latest t-shirt design.
Yes. So definitely snag this one.
You can get them online right now. If you just go to deadsledfuneralcompany.com, it is quite literally the very first thing you see when you open the website. We have just a stash of all of our merch right here next to us. So we have a few of these left. These are almost sold out, so thanks to everyone that's bought some. But this is our trifecta of terror 3-button pack. You see, you got a little mini Bongazi here, and then our band sigil, band logo, and then just the text logo with the twin lover skeletons, like you can see behind us here, on this very lovely decorative bloody pack.
We have Face Gazi shirt here.
Nice
design. You know, like I'm guessing you can know what we were going for here with the old school like Misfits or Manson, how they just had the big ass shirts, big ass faces on shirts in the '90s and shit.
Yep. There's lots of Rob Zombie designs like that too.
Yeah, there is.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Right on brand with the genre.
yep, and your favorite, the Coffin shirts, designed by Wraith Van Glorious himself, actually. Yeah.
Oh, right on. No,
And,
no.
I don't know if they're available right now. Those
No,
shirts?
all three are available. All three. Are
No, I'm
available
saying
online.
like, is that all the merch? And they have this button one too.
Oh yeah, the single green blood splatter button.
Yep. Yeah, we have more merch that we just ordered, like tank tops and stuff.
Yep. Fun fact: we do design all of our merch designs ourselves, with the exception of the Boy Dahlia T-shirt design. We did have assistance from a good friend of ours at Volta Vondro, just a graphic artist and very talented visual artist friend of ours. He co-designed the Boy Dahlia T-shirt, but pretty much everything else that we put out is completely self-designed. It's conceptualized by either Bongazi or myself, and then digitally created by myself from there, and formatted for whatever purpose we might need. But yeah, everything on our merch site is made by yours truly, the two of us. You can find all that stuff at deadsledfuneralcompany.com. And for those of you guys watching, purchasing merch is the most direct way to support us, because not only are you obviously financially supporting us, but you're also sporting our face or our band logo out there in the world, spreading the word by, traditional word of mouth of Deadsled Funeral Company, telling your friends just by putting on the shirt, getting the name out there, getting in front of people's eyes. But the more important, more direct thing is that it's financially helping us. We're of course, making a little bit of profit from that with every T-shirt that we sell, which goes directly into music videos, audio engineering, recording our next songs, and getting from city to city whenever we book out of town shows. So, the more you purchase from us, the more we can get singles out quicker and get music videos done quicker, and just continue to increase our budget and create even better, greater products.
Absolutely, 100%. We're firm believers in that. Go ahead.
There are so many voices.
Now, do you guys do bundles, like bundle packages, like shirts with something else, like buttons or anything?
We cycle some bundles in and out, kind of on a show-to-show basis, because we have had some price fluctuation here and there. But yes, right now we are offering a bundle package that I believe it includes a T-shirt and one of our sticker packs and a button pack, possibly. That if you were to purchase that at a live show, essentially you save quite a few bucks, getting a lot all together, lots of apparel and things you can sport on your body in one way or another, and come out with saving yourself like $5 or so, rather than spending like over $50 on merch all at once. So yes, we do. I think right now we just have one bundle that's live. It's not on the website, but if you come to any of our live shows, we do have some live show bundle deals. And then of course, if we have a fan that wants to do like a huge merch order, we do have a contact form on our website. Again, that's deadsledfuneralcompany.com. If you visit deadsledfuneralcompany.com and have any specific questions, like if you want to do a particularly large merch order, we can create manual discount codes on a case-by-case basis. So if somebody wants to do a particularly large order, we would be happy to accommodate with potentially some kind of discount code to help out a fan who wants to say, buy us out of stock on our new T-shirt or something, to help spread the word about the band. We'd love to support, any kind of large order bundle deal. So if there's anybody out there who wants to do a particularly large order or some kind of bundle deal, you can just hit us up, deadsledfuneralcompany.com, go to the contact page, just fill out that form, and we'll get an email about it and get back to you within a day.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and fun fact about merch, we do have a new design that we just finished placing an order for today, actually. So we almost sold out of the newest T-shirts. The Boy Dahlia T-shirt sold out within about a month. We're down to, I think we literally have 2 left. So we just restocked on the Boy Dahlia T-shirts. I'll be going to pick those up later this week. And then we have a new design that I just wrapped up. I just finished creating, I think, night before last. And those we're fixing to start printing ourselves within the next week.
Yeah, we have enamel pins also.
I got a question. Sorry.
What's up?
No, I'm just curious to ask.
Who's talking?
No, he has a question.
Sorry. No, just curious to ask. Are venues still Are venues still asking for a cut of the merch? Are you guys still
Yeah,
going through that headache still?
Yes, I know this because I'm a stage manager at House of Blues, and I have to unfortunately do these dirty deals because of Live Nation and all of that. But yes, it's at Live Nation venues, they're still getting cuts, and it's different from city to city, but it is still happening, and it is still very unfortunate, and no one likes it.
Mm-hmm.
Not even the workers.
Generally, the places that we're playing are not doing that. Like, most recent example, again, playing at Chelsea's in Baton Rouge. Again, one of the nicest venues in all of Louisiana, really. And again, very professional venue that treated us very well. They didn't take a cut. That never even came into question. Most of the kinds of places that we're playing at the level that we're at, nobody's really asking for merch cut, and for the most part, we're also able to keep all of the door money. Either that or take a guarantee straight from the venue.
Yeah.
But yes, certainly there are. It is in the industry at large. It is definitely still a very common and regularly expected practice to take a merch cut. Very unfortunate. It definitely happens, especially on like large tours. Again, playing like Live Nation venues, playing larger venues like bands that are going to be playing at House of Blues, main stage, things like that. Yes, merch cuts are most definitely a thing, and they are just a terrible deal. I mean, there's no win-win at that at all. The only entity that benefits from that is the venue. It's completely senseless, to be honest. And it actually it's I think it's feeding the slow death of the touring industry right now, because it's starting to get to a point where only these massive legacy acts are the only ones that can afford to keep up the level of production that is expected of them, and still make a profit, because they're selling so much merch that the cut that venues are taking from them is still a huge cut, and it's still wrong that those cuts are being taken, but what the bands are taking home is still just a massive amount of money. So, and again, to be clear, when I say legacy bands, I'm talking about acts ranging from Avenged Sevenfold to Slipknot all the way to, fucking Beyonce, who has this ungodly money that neither of the other two bands I just mentioned will ever have. But yeah, it's certainly a dirty practice that's like I said, it is feeding the slow death of the touring industry, because it is making it harder for bands like us that are a newer band that are not a legacy band to break into the next level, the larger step into the touring world. It makes it very hard to, tour city to city, playing large venues like, our Civic Theater here or the House of Blues main stage. And even if you're selling out those venues, even if you are selling them out ticket-wise, those venues are taking a cut of tickets. They're also adding fees to the ticket charges, making it less likely for some people to even come at all. They're taking a cut of merch. It just makes it very hard to stay afloat if you want to have the production level that is expected of a band that's going to headline a venue that size. Because you're not just trying to break even, you're also trying to pay, all the stage-hands that come with you, your sound person, your lighting person, renting the lighting equipment, like the gear that's not personally owned by the band. There's a lot financially that goes into that stuff that a lot of people do not even realize. And it's unfortunate that the profits are cut into so much. Merch is one of the greatest profit margins for any musical act, just because of, frankly, because of the markup that's done. And secondly, because, like in our case, a lot of the merch that these bands are selling is self-made, self-designed. So there's just massive potential for a large profit margin there. And unfortunately, that's being really cut into because it's more and more commonplace. It seems like that practice is only getting worse, not better, for venues to take merch cuts.
It really is. I mean, it's crazy.
We got angry and digressed a lot. Sorry.
No, you're super good. That's one of the things that we love about this. Go ahead, bud.
No, go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say, I mean, you're not going to find two bigger advocators for like the up and coming bands than me and Angel. Like we love that stuff. And that's one of the reasons we like talking about this. Like, but also, for example, so Megan and I recently went to The Cure, and it was this very interesting night out. So don't get me wrong, we love The Cure. I love The Cure. They can do no wrong. And
right, exactly.
But obviously, I'm sure you heard about it, that with
Robert Smith,
Robert getting Ticketmaster to give back thousands upon thousands, hundreds of $1,000s worth of fees back to the fans. And I thought it was absolutely bitching. It was amazing because I would talk to people about it. And I was like, the thing that's so crazy to me about it, but crazy in a good way, is I was like, the upper echelon celebs, you know, it wasn't Gene Simmons, it wasn't Nikki Sixx. And for the record, I'm not bashing these guys either because I'm a fan of these guys. But like, it wasn't Gene, it wasn't Nikki, it wasn't Mick Jagger, it wasn't Beyonce or anything. It was Robert Smith of The Cure got Ticketmaster to break. Got them to
I love
pay.
that, man.
And I just think it's amazing. And the other thing that was super cool that Megan and I loved, the shirts at that show were $25.
Oh wow!
And I was like, you guys,
the Boy Dahlia shirt.
I was like, guys, like you're The Cure. This was at an outdoor amphitheater. It was packed. One of those places that's got the stage, got the seats, then it's got the grass. And you couldn't even see what color the grass was. And that's not an exaggeration. This place was packed. And I was like, that's just everything about that night and that experience, which is awesome. Because not only did they deliver, it was like 3 encores, like 3 hours. The fact that Robert Smith was able to score one for the fans, and a band that's of the magnitude of The Cure, who coming over from Europe even has the excuse of selling things more expensive because they're bringing all this stuff from overseas, was still charging, $25 for a t-shirt and stuff like that. And I was like, that's super duper cool. And it was also pretty rad too, because the opening band I thought was pretty interesting. They were called the Twilight Sad. They're from Scotland. And I thought they were pretty cool and pretty interesting. But their t-shirts were $25 too, but that's also, kind of standard practice. The openers, they can't undersell the headliners. So I've been to tons of big name shows where you see these the headliners have to sell their shirts for $40, $50 because that's what the other bands are charging. They're charging like $40, $50 or whatever. But anyway, I just think that's particularly interesting. But no, you're 100% right. I remember last year there was a big hot button, social media uproar about the merch cuts of venues and whether or not you should boycott these venues. Is it right to? Can you talk to them? It's a very slippery slope, unfortunately, now, because it's just gotten so much trickier nowadays and a little bit more sleazy, where back in the day it was the record labels that really kind of owned the sleaze factor. Now it's a lot of kind of the stuff that you'd think the bands and venues would be more connected on. That seems like more of the sadness is kind of happening.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. But it's just another thing for the company, the corporation that I've named before, that I shan't name again, just getting their hands and everything. And from their point of view, they'll see it as, for instance, if you are a clothing company that is trying to get into a retail store, they're going to take a cut from as rental, basically. So this company is looking at all the venues that they own and seeing all of the corners they can cut to make it, justifiable. Yeah. Basically you're paying the venue as it's a rental thing, man, in every aspect. And it sucks, but it was kind of inevitable. And hopefully it fucks off.
Totally. 100%. Now, before I kick it back up to Angel and the Metal Summoners, we're going to steer it back into some happy times. Now, as much as we know that you guys would love to be on stage from, for 24 hours playing for fans, despite the fact that would hurt a lot by the end, but you're not always on stage. You're not always doing Deadsled stuff. Talk a little bit about what you guys do outside the band. Bone, I love the fact that you do special effects horror makeup stuff. I think that's absolutely awesome. I'm a crazy horror lunatic myself. But Wrath, also, how about yourself? And what do you do outside the band?
Nothing. I do the band full time. I mean, technically,
that's cool too.
I work at House of Blues part-time here and there. I pretty much just work the shows that I would want to go see so that I can just get into them for free.
Get paid
and
to see
I have a part-time job at Guitar Center, so I can get the massive, awesome employee discount, which has funded all of the gear for the band. But I mean, really, man, like I'm, to some degree, just roughing it and bumming it a little bit, taking support where I can get it so that I can full-time focus on the band. I mean, pretty much with some exception of, just finding downtime in life to like breathe and enjoy myself a little bit. I dedicate all of my time to the band, because doing the band thing the right way is not just showing up to rehearsal 2 or 3 times a week and playing your instrument. It's social media management, it's market research, which is like the nerd shit that nobody even really thinks about, which is why a lot of local bands fail. It's budgeting, it's merch design, it's creating content for the social media, keeping up with social media analytics to study, okay, this post didn't do as well as this post, here's why, so the next one will only do better. Booking shows, reaching out to, guys like you guys, finding things like this, little opportunities here and there that we can to, optimize our search engine results as much as possible and connect with new people and hopefully, make new fans out of opportunities like this. Constantly networking with other musicians. We have about, I think in total, because I just try to make us present and visual online anywhere that's possible so that we're easy to stumble upon by accident, which just increases the potential of making new fans organically. I think I have a total of about 21 different social or online accounts that I maintain for Deadsled. So every time there's an update, every time there's a new single release, or we switch aesthetics and go with a new background or a new profile picture or have a new single come out, there's quite literally, I think it's like 20 something accounts get updated. I handle all the distribution of our singles. I'm engineering and producing all the singles myself too. So, quite literally, the vocals for Boy Dahlia were tracked in my bathroom.
Oh, wow.
And then I go through all the takes and I do like whatever little edits of the vocals or the guitars and the bass, etc. that needs to be, any little bit of like time correction or picking the best takes from all the takes that we do. Everything that goes into the engineering aspect of a recording. All of that stuff takes hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And, thankfully I'm in a position in my life, being freshly graduated from college and still very young, that I don't have to have, my whole life figured out yet. So what I do is worry about only this, and it's either going to work out or it's not. But, something that my parents liked to compare this endeavor a lot to when I was younger, and honestly, when I'm, speaking with them, still do, and I really appreciate this, supportive attitude, is they compare it to, if you're going to do this the right way, you got to treat it like an Olympian treats the Olympics. You basically don't get to have a life, and you have to do this all the time or it's not going to work. So, to answer that question, like, I don't do much outside of this. I don't go out. I don't hang out with anybody much besides Bongazi and Belmont and my girlfriend, I guess. We just spend all of our free time writing music, recording music, and I spend a lot of time in front of the computer managing social media and doing research for, figuring out any little bit or way that we can grow the band. And all this being said, by the way, I feel like it sounds very like sad, like, oh, it's just such hard work, man, woe is me. I don't mean it like that at all. I love doing this shit. It's nerd shit, and I love doing it. It's what I went to college for, and I enjoyed every moment of that too. So it's not a bad thing that it takes all my time. I love doing this. I feel like I'm portraying it in a way. My monotone tone of voice kind of sounds like it's, oh man, it's just so hard. But no, I mean it in a good way. Like, I spend my life doing this because it's what I want to do, and I have absolutely no problem with that. I think it's great, and I think in the long run, we'll reap benefits from it, and we'll come to a point where we can afford to pay someone else to do 2/3 of what I just listed, so that we can just play our instruments and take a breath every now and then. Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Anyway, super long answer once again.
Yeah. Oh, Steel Panther, hell yeah.
Fuck, I love Steel Panther.
No.
Yeah.
We definitely get that 100%. Like, Angel and I are both day job people, but we love our show, we love our platform, and we love doing what we get to do. And over 3.5 years, I mean, we've been very blessed to have like some really like awesome like heavy hitters from members of like, you know, the Bullet Boys or Def Leppard or Motley Crue. We've been very blessed with that stuff. But at the same time,
Nice.
we're very driven by good conversation, good people, and interesting stories, and also pushing that next level of thing. Like I've said this before plenty of times, and Angel will attest to this. I give Angel a lot of credit. He gives me a lot of leeway in my bookings of guests because I'm a little bit off the grid from a show that started as a pretty dominant like 80s glam style show to wanting to just talk to anybody who's got great stories and is just down for a good evening. Is really, really cool. And that's the way we always try to do it. We have 2 other co-hosts and everybody's 100% allowed to book as they see fit. And we all just trust each other's judgment. You know, Angel hit me up about a guest that we have, Vic, coming up in a couple of weeks. He's like, hey, man, I'm talking to this guy. Are you down? I'm like, book him. Here are the dates that are open. You know, and same thing with this. It's like, hey, I reached out to this band, Deadsled Funeral Company. I've been watching them for a while. I really dig their vibe. I like what they do, and I think it'd be interesting, and I'd really like to put them on the show. He's like, book them. So.
Love that, man.
Yeah,
I think the
good.
funniest was Wayne's World.
Thanks again.
We had the director from Wayne's World. Definitely.
Yeah,
My
that's
girl's
really-
a big Harley Quinn fan and wants to show you guys her new book because she loves like Harley Quinn stuff.
Killer.
That looks like the Joker.
She's all about that stuff. Yep, on the back cover. Yeah. Nah, that's more.
That
That's more
reminds
my
me of a comment we got on one of our Instagram posts the other day. Somebody said they commented on it was just a video of the 3 of us kind of just like mean mugging the camera, and it said they said, "I don't know about anybody else, but I'm seeing Heath Ledger, Christian Bale, and a young Ozzy Osbourne here."
Who was the young Ozzy Osbourne?
Me.
Ouch.
Yeah, that would make you Heath
You're
Ledger.
way cuter.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Anyway, you being the Heath Ledger and Belmont being the Christian Bale character. But just speaking of Harley Quinn and the Joker, it just made me think about that. Thought that was a very interesting.
Totally. There you go, Angel. There's your Joker.
Hold on 1 second. Let me bring it up to the big screen.
I was like, she's got books galore. If it's Harley Quinn infused, then Megan knows about it. See, there you go. Right on cue.
There's a pretty killer Harley Quinn podcast series on Spotify that's been pushed in my For You page or whatever, like my Spotify recommendations lately. I need to dive into.
Nice.
You know, Harley was never a blonde.
Was never what?
She was not originally a blonde. She was a brunette.
Interesting.
I wonder where the change occurred for that as far as his character development.
Appealing to the masses aesthetically.
She even
gotta be.
Just to get under your skin.
Yeah, you thought I was just another bubble-headed blonde bimbo. You're like, I know it for you. I'm not even a real blonde.
That's what's
Brunette.
That's so
Yeah, I've
awesome.
definitely heard that. I don't remember what series that's from, but I
I
think it's like the original like Mark Hamill.
There's been like a Harley Quinn like adult show that's been, it was either on like I don't know, YouTube Red or Netflix or something, but it's done like 3 seasons of this like kind of R-rated Harley cartoon that I've
Amazon Prime. It's Amazon Prime. It's a Prime.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was on Amazon Prime. That show's super cool.
Who they have voice of Harley sucks. She can't even do Harley's voice.
Yeah, it is that. Yeah, the voice is like really different. Like the acting is good, but the voice wasn't.
It's
really
Penny. It's Penny.
Yeah, it's the chick from The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, it's her. If you're gonna play Harley Quinn, you really gotta do a voice.
Yeah, I do that like really over the top Brooklyn accent.
You really gotta do it.
Yep, you gotta commit.
Seriously?
Oh, what's up, Love and Vein? How you doing, guys? Thank you so much for your support. What's up, Jamie? Angel, let's kick it back up to you, man. Let's get some of the fans involved again. They've been very, very patient. We want their questions to get answered. At that time, it is also last call for alcohol fans when it does come to the guest questions. Oh, nice. When it comes to the guest questions, they'll all get answered. We really appreciate Deadsled giving us so much of their evening, and we do have a little more time with them. But we also want to respect their evening as well to be able to enjoy it with themselves, their families, and work on anything involving Deadsled, of course. So thank you so much, fans. Hang with us.
I'm getting right back into the studio and working on our next single. That's what I stopped doing to be here, and that's what I'm going to do as soon as we get done. So take your time, man.
No, don't take your time to get back to work at House of Blues.
I did forget that we're actually all
Actually, I never thought that.
Go ahead, Angel. It's all
right,
you.
hit us with it.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Would you play the halftime show at the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, yeah. Who wouldn't, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Only if the New Orleans Saints are playing it,
Nice.
which will probably never happen. So, but yes, I love the Saints, man. But goddamn,
Yeah, I don't think that's happened since I was like a little kid.
yeah, damn,
Yeah.
we're both little kids.
Yeah. I remember their Super Bowl win.
Me too.
I'm
Yeah,
seeing another question pop up in the chat. What's this?
If you get
okay.
2 bands, 2 musicians from past or present to do a record, who would it be?
Oh, so to pick like 2 bands or 2 individual musicians to collaborate on an album.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh my god!
fucking shit.
And is this to collaborate with us, or like we pick 2 musicians to collaborate with each
You
other?
could pick 2 musicians.
I think it's 2 musicians to
for
collaborate
like,
with each other.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Each other.
that's really hard, but I think I would have to go with. I have two answers because I'm just torn between them. But either Trent Reznor and Jonathan Davis, or Trent Reznor and Korn as a band, or Trent Reznor and this very little known musician Jonathan Bates of the band Mellowdrone. Not a super popular, super widely known band, but they definitely had an impressive prime and do at one point had very impressive streaming numbers. But yeah, Trent Reznor and Mellowdrone / Jonathan Bates, or Trent Reznor and Korn.
Mine's gonna be fucking weird,
Okay.
and you're not gonna understand it. But I think that a really good collaboration that would be beautiful and should grace the ear holes of all would be Mazzy Star and Vile Valo doing a song together.
Nice.
Yeah,
Because Village just did that cover song with BVB.
yeah,
Just,
he did. Yeah, we recently had Vile play at House of Blues too on his Neon Noir tour, and I'm a huge fan.
Yep.
If you see Pinky.
Yep.
Yeah.
This half of my arm is all him tattoos.
No shit, that's so
Yep.
cool, dude. Yeah, I got to do hospitality.
Yeah, I got the heartogram right in the middle. I've got the Cosmic Pope on the back side. I've got the
such a
coffin
cool
with the interlocking hearts. The fire symbol that kind of looks like a teardrop falling into a skate vert ramp. That logo,
Uh-huh.
and I've got the spider that has the little. It was too small to be able to do all that detail. But traditionally, it's the spider that has the Cosmic Pope's head in it. It's basically all the logos out of Deep Shadow's Brilliant Highlights, because that's my favorite record. So
That
it's
is a really fucking good record by them, honestly. I was I watched this whole because a few years back I was traveling a bunch and going just sitting down in airports at gates and stuff, terminal gates. I'd watch all the documentaries on or anything I get my hands on with their albums, and that's a really fucking good one, man.
Yeah.
I think that was their sophomore album, right?
Yes.
Officially.
Officially, yeah.
It's funny because Vile talking about that one, they kind of just went to the studio and they had this air about them because their first album is so fucking good. They were just we're just gonna do whatever because we're fucking rock stars now. But it came out to effortlessly being such an amazing album. So yes, big fan. But I think that Mazzy Star is she's a sad girl acoustic chick. So I think that his voice, and he's also a big fan of hers, that they would just do such a good collaboration. So I like a lot of soft, slow acoustic music as well.
Oh, gotcha.
Mostly, actually, yeah. So that's my answer.
I think you would enjoy a female artist that I like called Jess O. Lantern. She's part of the horror punk community, but she's an acoustic performer. That's what she does.
That sounds so familiar.
Yeah, her husband has his own band and stuff like that. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think his band is called Bats in the Belfry.
Okay.
But Jessie performs under the name Jess O Lantern. But it's basically like acoustic horror punk songs, but it's very cool.
Okay, I used to still kind of do. I have this project called Handsome Phantoms, and it's like that.
Nice.
So I'll check that out. Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Of course, man. Absolutely. Go ahead, Angel.
What was your creative process for the name of the band?
The name of the band, Deadsled Funeral Company. Many moons ago, I was working actually for this haunted attraction here in New Orleans called the Mortuary Haunted House. It's on Canal Street. It was an actual funeral home in the 1800s, or no, it was a private residency, and then like in the early 90s to early 2000s, it was an actual funeral home. So I was working there, and we were actually filming this commercial for Travel Channel, and they had some old school hearses that came to be filmed. And one of the license plates said Deadsled on it. I'd never seen that before. And I was like, damn, dude, that's fucking cool. So basically, it's as simple as just seeing that, wanting it to be incorporated in there. And I was working at a funeral home, allegedly. So Deadsled Funeral Company. And I just liked, I liked long name bands like, Dillinger Escape Plan, like shit like that. And it just made sense. And also the company part comes into where it's not just a band, it's a brand,
Yeah, definitely has that kind of like branding sound to it.
Yeah, because you could see Deadsled Funeral Company on a shirt and be like, and this has happened before.
That's a band.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that's a merch company or whatever kind of company, So it has many meanings, and it can mold into pop culture or subcultures easier.
What was the first show that you went to?
The first show that we went to, or like individually.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The first show I went to, and it's actually really funny because I was talking to this gentleman about it a few days ago. It was at the Cypress in Metairie here in Louisiana. And it was this band called Aiden. And they were on their Conviction tour, that album cycle. And I was like 10 years old. And they've definitely, like, you can definitely see the influences to this day of like Deadsled aesthetic and Aiden aesthetic. And we're kind of talking about that, like William Control.
Yep.
He randomly DM'd me one day, being like, "You had a badass band," and I'm like, "Holy fucking shit, dude! Like, you don't even understand how much you mean to me." So that was my first show.
That's apparently like pretty recently, some mutual friend of ours was hanging out with the guy from Aiden and just mentioned us.
No, talking on
right?
DM.
Oh, is that what it was? They were like talking.
Okay. Yeah.
But still,
one of our mutual friends.
Blessings to that mutual friend for thinking to bring us up.
Thanks, Bunny. So yeah, now we're friends, and that was my first show when I was 10 years old. Crazy. But anyway, what was your first show?
My first show, I think I was like 14 years old. It was at the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium. It was seeing Jack White touring as a solo act, as he has, now for many years since the White Stripes have no longer been a thing. That was a really interesting show. He mostly did, just as like his Jack White era music and not a lot of White Stripe stuff. But his second to last song, of course, he did do Seven Nation Army, and then he encored with some really gloomy, sad song saying like it's so hard to say goodbye. That just like totally destroyed the vibe, but it was also kind of nice that he was saying like, "I'm gonna miss you guys,"
That's beautiful.
Trying to have like a beautiful moment with the fans, but ending on a really fucking low note, actually. But anyway, it was a killer show, except for the closing song. It was very energetic, very lively. The lighting I was very impressed with, and the stage setup I was really impressed with. They looked very comfortable. There were a lot of risers, like the drummer had a riser, but then like one of the keys players had like a stair step riser. Like it was a very elaborate and impressive stage setup that just made it look like there's lots of areas to move around on, lots of areas to interact with different musicians. And he, at that point in his career, he had a lot of musicians traveling with him. So he wasn't just like a 4-piece, but he had a bunch of people. on stage with him. And it just looked impressive, but I also remember thinking like, there's a lot of rugs too. I remember thinking it looked very comfortable.
I love rugs on stage, dude.
This Saturday when we played at Chelsea's, the whole stage is covered in rugs. And not only is that practically great because you can run all your excess cable under the rugs, which worked out great because we have lots. So again, like I was saying when we were doing the rig rundown segment earlier, lots of cables running all over the stage for different purposes. But it's also just very comfortable. It makes it a lot easier to like, you know, throw down to your knees or like suddenly fall backwards or like lay down or, you know, get on the floor in some way. Having all those thick rugs is very comfortable, but it also just creates a sense of comfort too, even when we're just standing most of the time. So different reason than my whole digression about Jack White, but
love rugs.
Rugs on stages are great. What's next?
What we got?
Did you play an instrument in grade school?
In grade school, I played the saxophone.
Oh yeah, you're in the school band.
No, I wasn't.
You just played the thing.
Listen. So it was in 5th grade. And they had like this band program because we didn't have marching band in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Grade school. I'm guessing, yeah, that's grade school to me. But everyone wanted to be drummers, and they picked me to not be a drummer, which I mean makes sense because my little brother is a drummer, so they just can see genetically, I guess, that it wouldn't work out for me. So I picked the saxophone.
There can only be one.
Yeah, so I played the saxophone in 5th grade. I guess introduction to bands, but I was never in bands because I thought I was too cool for any programs, and now I feel like a fucking idiot because I would have loved to be in band and theater, which I should have been, but I wasn't.
I didn't start playing guitar or any instrument until like 7th or 8th grade, so like middle school area. I think I took a guitar course in middle school just to have an excuse to play guitar for an hour a day in class. Was mostly bored with the class because it was an introductory class, and I like very quickly like just technique advanced way past that point. But I didn't really get into it until my high school days, and in high school I was in a lot of different musical classes. I was in like the talented arts program where we kind of had like a free form structure of case by case, day by day assignments, trying to be challenged in whatever different weird ways the teacher at the time came up with, in addition to being in the school jazz band. And I often actually collaborated with other classes that I wasn't a part of. Like I collaborated with the orchestra class despite not being in the school orchestra. And I collaborated with one of the choir teachers a lot as well. And I performed with the faculty band a bunch of times when I was in high school. But no, like when you hear like grade school, I guess you think like you think of the like the elementary school days, and I wasn't into music really until much later in my public school career. So not really until high school did I get into that aspect of things. The faculty band thing in high school was actually really interesting, though. I was probably better friends with some of the teachers than I was with people my own age.
You gotta watch it. It ain't sketchy sometimes, bro.
No, they're fucking cool guys, man, you know. And of course, obviously way more seasoned at their instruments than my classmates, so they were a lot more easy to deal with and perform with. And I actually ended up being like the band director of the faculty band. Like I was the one running the rehearsals. I was the one picking set lists. I was the one like making sure everybody learned their parts and stuff, which was like kind of just an interesting dichotomy, I guess, because you expect a faculty band to be like, oh, like everybody's gonna show up and know their shit and like we're good because these guys are all seasoned players. But like I literally had to like take on a leading role because you just realize that no matter how seasoned a player is, when you get 5 or 6 people in the room together to be in a band, somebody's got to take the reins. So that was just interesting that ended up falling on me. It was fun and interesting, and again, those guys were very fun to play with. We did a lot of like Led Zeppelin and Guns N' Roses type like classic rock covers. Anyway, once again, severely digressing from the original question, but another long answer for you.
Your answers are very erect.
There, what now? I think you need a dictionary.
Erect. Trust me, I know erect.
You also said we were going to penetrate Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
We quite literally did.
We are coming inside you, Baton
we did
Rouge.
come inside Baton Rouge. We did penetrate Baton Rouge's venues, and we penetrated their ears, holes sonically.
We erected their attention.
Yeah, we made
Any
the,
place
well, no,
that
but
you
we made the audience
penetrate.
correct. I guess we
Any-
made the audience.
Dude, that was Belmont.
Any place that
What were
you
you saying, Bob?
penetrated and never want to come back and penetrate again.
A few X's. No. So, yes, but I'm not gonna name names of places.
Yeah, if we're talking about venues, we're not gonna. Yeah,
But there have been
not
some.
gonna answer that
Yeah,
question.
Well, we can answer it tactfully.
Yeah, without naming said venues, I guess.
Yeah. Well, one said venue that we showed up to was so fucking small, that I was basically where my mic was basically the front of the bar, and like I could order drinks and perform
At the same time.
at the same time, which is kind of cool, but not really.
Yeah.
And our drummer at the time, my little brother, was under 21, so he had to wait outside of the venue, and only could come in to play and then had to leave. And it was freezing outside. Jesus. So, fuck that place.
Yeah. Yeah, there are definitely, like in my time, having been in other bands in the past, there are definitely some venues that I've played that I thought, this is a complete waste of time. Honestly, can't even remember the names of said places anymore.
Good, 'cause we're not even saying them.
I'd remember them if I heard them, but if somebody said, hey, you want to go, we got offered to book here, I'd be like, no. But I'd say mostly the rejection of an offer it comes more if it's somewhere that we've played before and then decide not to play again. I would say for me, as far as like how I think about it, how I approach that answer, the rejection of a venue, if that's going to be the case, if it's going to be a rejection, is going to have more to do with how we were treated than the actual quality of the venue itself. Because there are also plenty of shitty looking venues, plenty of DIY looking venues that when you show up, you just think, oh God, this is terrible and no one will be here. But they have a great built-in crowd, and next thing you know, it's 11 o'clock at night and you're fixing to go on and there's 150 people out there that have never seen you before. So boom, 150 new fans. And that's great. But, it's how you're treated, how the venue collaborates with the artist.
Yeah.
Matters a lot. I would say that matters even more than how sketchy the venue looks.
I love sketchy.
Because again, there could be like a crap setup as far as how things look, and maybe even the sound setup's not great. But if you're able to get up there and perform, and you know that you can get a bunch of people to come, then the thing that really matters is how are you treated afterwards? Are you paid the correct amount? Was the venue easy to work with? Was whoever the point of contact, paying attention, doing their job, making sure that we have the things that we need,
making you feel loved?
Yeah. If there are certain basic needs that aren't met, like the sound person just not knowing what the hell they're doing, then yeah, we probably won't be back. But I'd say it has a lot more to do with how we're treated than the venue itself inherently.
Yes, very true. Just treat your bands right too, man.
Yeah, it's really not hard.
No.
Yeah.
I'll give you one example. When we went to see Tom Kiefer, Winger, and John Karabi, signed he signed every autograph, took every picture till the last person.
Excellent.
And he did it for free. And he did the meet and greet for free.
Nice. Very cool.
So that was really cool of him to do that for free. The meet and greet, signing every autograph, taking every picture. He was just awesome doing that.
Yeah, we love doing that. We try to, sometimes there's not time because, being, again, a band that's completely like self-sufficient and DIY, we don't have paid roadies that have our rig memorized and know exactly where we like everything and how to pack everything up. We have to do that all ourselves. So especially in the case of being a headliner, which is why we actually were talking about this Saturday. We actually like to, if there's like a 3-band bill, we like to be second and not actually the headline, the very last band of the night, because it gives us time we can rip our shit off the stage and push it in the corner somewhere. And then we can go stand by the merch table or go outside and schmooze with all the fans while the headlining band is getting ready and setting up and then going on. It leaves this buffer time for us to have a free moment to not be like, go, get your shit and get out, It gives us time to do exactly that, to meet with the fans, to take photos, to encourage them to go over to the merch table and buy something, which we usually do, just like we all flock to the merch table so that people want to come talk to us. And then while we're there, we're like, hey, buy a shirt. But I digress.
Yeah, get one of our shirts and rocking in Montana, baby.
Oh, awesome. We love that. Thank you. But yeah, we love doing exactly that. We love doing the meet and greet stuff. We try to go out of our way to make sure to make time to do it. And again, even if we are closing a night, with the exception of if a venue for some reason, as soon as the show is over, it's like, all right, get the fuck out. You know, we will just leave our shit on the stage. Like if we headline, we'll take 20 minutes or so to just try to meet every single person that shows up that expresses any amount of interest in wanting to talk to us. You know, we try to make sure that everybody feels appreciated and feels heard and feels seen.
Feels loved.
Exactly.
And Daryl wants to know, I'm not sure about this question, talk about fan art.
Fan art, yes, we do have beautiful portraits that have been drawn of us, fan members, and collectively as a band. And I think that's very special and unique because an artist loves, well, I mean, me speaking personally, I love whenever something like, you know, visually, artistically that I've put out there in the world, something vulnerable to me is, you know, being not duplicated, but just inspiring other artists. So I love that shit. And it's been happening and it's cool.
Yeah, we love to see it. All the fan art that we've been given so far, some by mail, some in person, from people showing up and handing us their art, all of it's framed and put up on the wall in our rehearsal room. We just got 3 new portraits at our last show, Chelsea's in Baton Rouge on Saturday. So I'll be framing those and putting those up in our rehearsal room soon too. Nice. We love to see it. So it's you know it's a great and creative way to show support and appreciation for what we do. So
we appreciate
nothing but positivity from that. You know, it's just it's always going to be well received. And it happens to be that the artists that have done fan art of us so far are actually very talented artists. So all these images actually look really good. Quite impressive work.
Yeah, even if you're not a very talented or you don't think you're a very talented artist, you can still do it. We'll still love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Belmont will tell you he loves it.
Yeah.
For sure. He's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Shout out to Belmont.
Yeah. And who's to judge what's good art and what's bad art anyway? There are plenty of people that probably think that our music sucks and that our band sucks and that we look silly in makeup, but like that's subjective.
But they suck.
Yeah. Actually, it's not subjective. We're objectively great, and if you don't like us, you're wrong.
That's just factual?
Yeah. That's actually just.
Hey, if they're talking, that's even better. If they hate you and they post, I hate this band.
That's just free advertising.
Which I don't get that.
Yeah.
That is true.
It's publicity, you know. It's good.
Question. Yep. You are invited to sing one Misfit song on stage with them.
All right. Listen, and I may get shit for it, but I don't care because it's an honest answer. Don't worry, it's nothing from what's that album, Devil's Room. But I would honestly do Dig Up Her Bones, Michael Graves era, with them on stage. Now,
that's still my favorite Misfit. That's my favorite Misfits song, period.
Fuck yes. There you go.
Yep.
But yeah, that is another thing too. What's cool about that era of Misfits is growing up too, seeing that in their music videos and shit. That inspired me a lot to do Deadsled stuff, obviously. But yes, Dig Up Her Bones, baby. I would fucking kill. And then, but what's funny though is these days, like if I were given that opportunity, Danzig would be like, "Nah, fuck you, little kid," because now it's like, you know, the Danzig era Misfits is back doing live shows, which is awesome. We're Deadsled Funeral Company. Now you know us.
Yeah, I think I missed some context in the chat on that one.
Misfits, Sam Hain, or Danzig. If only one was available. Okay, listen. I would absolutely say Danzig solo stuff. Danzig solo stuff is so fucking good and bluesy and heavy. And I just worked one of his shows at Fillmore, and he blew it out the water.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love seeing Danzig live.
The Danzig solo project's like the heaviest, most metal of those 3 listed. has probably the most interesting instrumental work and overall the best production value.
Brilliant.
Just rocks hard.
Fucking rock and roll. And he was really nice to me. A lot of
Yeah.
people say he's mean. He had a really good attitude that day, and he talked to me, and it was
Nice.
cool.
Be right back, Angel. Be right back, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
And okay, here's a
That's awesome.
comment that's really, I'm gonna turn it into a question. And just curious about how you guys feel about Spotify. You know, right?
Wait, what was the question?
Which really sucks to get only $11. No, how do you guys feel about sites like Spotify?
I guess based on the comment I just saw in the chat there, that's more of a question of the way that artists are paid and the way that works. You know, there's lots of negatives that can be pointed out about Spotify, and as far mostly to do with payment and the way that artists are paid, the way that they're compensated for streams. But I think the way that artists are compensated for their streams, for the most part, it doesn't translate as realistically and as well as like album sales, you know, from like how things were judged in the 90s and prior. It doesn't quite exactly translate. There's been plenty of market research done on that subject that none of us even know as much about as any of the parties that were directly involved with that the creation of the algorithms for Spotify and the way that artists are compensated for their streams. That's part of what I studied in college, and I still don't fully understand how the decisions of like how artists are paid per stream was what the mathematics and the market research that went into that, how it justifies the way that it is. But I am willing to admit that the people who do that job know more about it than we do. And I think that they're doing a good job. Again, it's very unrealistic to make money from streaming alone unless you have M&M numbers. But overall, I think things like Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, all the streaming services, and the fact that there are distribution services like CD Baby and DistroKid that are accessible to everyone who has the time and the wherewithal to deal with said distribution services, can upload their music and make it available on all of those platforms. I think it's great. Yeah, it does result in this massive long tail of this infinite ether of all these songs and artists out there. It makes it harder to like battle through, what you can. The hell are you laughing at? I'm so worried. I'm so concerned. No, I know. It does make it very difficult to.
Scoot closer to me.
No, it definitely makes it more difficult to fight through the long tail of other artists that are out there in the world and to stand out among them. But when you do, if you do, I think it's great. It's so much easier to discover new music now than it ever has been. Because, one way of looking at it is, well, bands were treated better in a decade like the 80s. And like when you did make it big, it was easier to like more quickly move and have a faster trajectory. But getting discovered in the first place, I think, was probably just even harder because you either never made it at all, or if you had the talent and the imagery and the drive, made it really big. I think now it's much easier to be discovered. You do have to fight through more artists and more of a long tail of other things being out there in the ether of the internet. It's more to fight through, but it's also easier to be stumbled upon. Since we released the Boy Dahlia music video, and I've done, again, like I said earlier, pre-release, I did a lot of market research and, figured out how to tailor our ads that we run online for the new music video. We got a decent amount of comments under the video, and just like, I've been getting private messages online and stuff too of people that have accidentally stumbled across us because YouTube's algorithms or Spotify's algorithms have recommended our music to the right people because they, have mathematically figured out based on your other interests, you would probably like this band, and that's been working for us. And have the numbers been like crazy rock star numbers from it? No, but it's working, and it's after only releasing 2 songs. So as we release more and as we generate more content, I think that's only going to get better and better. So a lot of people like to shit on the streaming services for not paying very well, and I completely agree that we're not paid very well. But you shouldn't rely on streaming numbers to be paid anyway. That's just kind of a ridiculous concept. What you need to rely on for being paid is live performance and merch sales. And if you want to make money, that's what you got to push. And then, hopefully there will be a phase of physical music being purchased again and that becoming more commonplace, but I don't expect that to be a thing anytime soon. So I think streaming services are great. It's just it's a new and faster and easier way to get recognized, and it's a way to connect with fans directly and on the daily. Because again, nobody has to happen to be shopping in the right record store that happens to have gotten a shipment of your vinyls. Nobody has to happen to be in the right place at the right time. If they come across you on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, yada, 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 once they're there, they're right there, and you're forever accessible to that person, at the drop of a hat at any moment. So if they really like your music, they can go listen to it at any time. They can go check up on you at any time. And I think that's great.
Fabulous, I'd say.
And the final question before I kick it up to Jay. What would you like to be known for?
Being fucking rock stars, baby.
I would like to be known for unapologetically shoving my visions down your throat.
Yep. I'd love to be known for our music and our vision artistically. As an individual, I'd just love to be, remembered as a great guitarist. But within the Deadsled endeavors specifically, I'd like to be remembered as a band, as an artist, for our music, of course, because that's literally what you're connecting with us over, but also be remembered for doing something unique, visually, aesthetically, the way that we present ourselves, even if that means not necessarily doing something entirely new, but bringing back something that's been missing from music for a few decades. Being memorized for, or being remembered for who we are and what Deadsled is. That's what we want to be remembered for.
Putting on a fucking show that is...
being known for killer live shows is certainly a specific part of the dream.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always envisioned and tried to craft a show that will be to come that, I don't know, it just feels like a dream, because I mean, I remember going to shows when I was younger and just being like, did that really happen? Just
it happens so fast.
Yeah, just something so euphoric and something that it's kind of unbelievable, and just indulging in a world, in a universe, just for one night, or just an hour and a half, 2 hours, and having that impact and inspiration on others.
Yeah, until just now, we really haven't talked about it in any depth at all, but we all place great emphasis on the live show experience. I mean, of course, we try to, remain humble in everything we do and continue to grow and get better and see the potential in things to get better and better. But specifically, the live show is something that we work really hard at. It is something that, I know I personally am constantly thinking about and making suggestions and giving direction in the band as far as things that we can do to improve it. The live show is super important. To me personally, I'd say it's more important than, the music itself. The music is, of course, it's important that the music be well produced, well engineered, sound good, be captivating. But the music is really just a bait to get you to come to the live show, to experience us live, to get people to want to come to see us live. So, we may not be touring the full U.S. right now, despite having fans all over the nation and having international fans all over the world. The dream is the intention, the ideal, the plan is to tour the world, to tour the nation, to go everywhere, to all the cities where we know we have fans. And so the music is just a catalyst or a bait for building anticipation to that eventuality.
Yeah, exactly. Experiencing a show.
Is the most important thing.
One thing too that I think is quite interesting that I'm going to go off on my own tangent about is, as far as live shows go, and working them at House of Blues and shit, this always crosses my mind. But the one tangent I go
I was
off
doing
on,
the beginning of Psycho by System of a Down.
Yeah, man, that sounded good. But so it's basically what I want the vibe to be as well, is just bringing a show on the road. It's like carnival acts and side shows and freak shows. These people used to running away from home and joining the circus. It's basically the same thing with musicians now. So bringing that kind of quality of a weird, obscure, cool thing two cities that won't be able to experience that anywhere else but in that room in that moment is really like what I think we strive for.
That kind of goes back to the whole is being from New Orleans important to your band, you know, as far as like who you are and what we do. I definitely think when it comes time to do, you know, larger tours with many dates, that bringing you a taste of New Orleans is going to be maybe not a tagline word for word, but certainly
you're going to taste New Orleans.
A big going to taste New Orleans inside of you. Certainly New Orleans penetrating you.
Wow.
Certainly a big part of the promotion campaign and the anticipation building for our live shows is bringing you a taste of New Orleans through our lens of romance and horror. You know, I definitely think that, you know, this ties into that question from earlier, being where we're from and bringing you the sensation or the experience of, you know, being here ties into the whole live show experience.
You stole my tangent. But yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
You sounded done, so I was just putting an exclamation.
You have to have a breath of, like a little breath of air to let the reader digest.
If you got a breath, I'm gonna penetrate that sentence.
All right, we'll see. I'll get one of your shirts and rep you here in Montana. You better.
Hell yeah! Thank you. Hold me to it. DeadsledFuneralCompany.com. Order now.
The dungeon. Oh, I think you meant the dungeon here in New Orleans, like the bar.
Oh, the dungeon. Oh, yeah, we have a bar here called the Dungeon. Super sick metal and goth bar.
I can't get in right now because my ID is expired, but it's cool.
Oh, damn, there's one question that I know I forgot that has to do with bars in New Orleans. Hold on 1 second. It's like
Speaking
I asked
of,
the question and forgot all about it.
I've gotten blacked out on this all.
Here's the question. That's the one question that I forgot.
Someone go if you haven't been to New Orleans. Okay. Honestly, it depends on what you're really looking for. As far as like the alternative shit, Lower Decatur's really cool. That's where Santos, the Abbey, all of those kind of divey bars are. But if you're coming for live music, if you're coming for like a New Orleans experience, but you don't want to do Bourbon Street,
Frenchman.
Yeah, Frenchman Street is the way to go.
Lots of jazz and blues and like shreddy blues on Frenchman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bourbon is overrated. Honestly, too, I hate to deter people from this lovely city, but if you're going to come here for Mardi Gras with any expectations of having real fun, you probably won't because there's so many people.
You're just going to get mad trying to park anywhere.
Yeah, well, you're not going to park anywhere.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, it's just too crowded, man. It's almost kind of the same. Halloween's a little bit different because it's the best holiday in the universe. But yeah, there's just New Orleans is not as big as people think. So like coming here for those big holidays is kind of like, ooh.
Yeah, physically it's pretty small. At least the parts of town that are most iconic and most like
the French Quarter is only 12 blocks.
They're really small. Yeah. Really small areas. Like the uptown area is, I feel like, a big part of what people think of specifically for Mardi Gras. And it's just a really small area that it's incredible and discomforting the amount of people that get packed into such a small part of town for Mardi Gras parades. Better time to come is literally any time that's not Mardi Gras, really, because it won't be as insanely overpacked as it is.
Come like right before Halloween.
Yeah,
the weather's nice.
Yeah, the weather's
or no,
really good.
After.
Right after or right before?
Right after October, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good time to come. Unless you're coming to see us at our annual Halloween ball, then you should totally come during Halloween.
Yes.
But yeah, just practically speaking, yeah, coming during a time that's not popularly frequented, so avoiding Halloween and Mardi Gras is a pleasant time to come. And as far as places to go, like we said, Lower Decatur, Frenchman Street, honestly, just like anywhere uptown, that part of town in general is a very aesthetically pleasing part of town. It's just very pretty to look at. There's a nice mixture of nature and just neighborhood like architecture that's really pretty to drive through. There's lots of like small shops and small places to eat that are unique to the city, and it's a nice place to visit during the day, as opposed to a lot of people think of Bourbon Street like going out at night, like party hard, you know. The uptown areas are nice to visit during the day and kind of see the sun shine through the tree canopies and, you know, take a walk and find somewhere nice to have lunch or something. you're coming for like metal or like goth or vampire scene, then definitely Santos, the Dungeon. What is that vampire bar called? The Potions?
Oh yeah, Potions.
Oh, there's like a hidden vampire bar called Potions here. That's really interesting.
That one's cool.
It's above a cafe. It's actually above a jazz pub. You have to go to the back of the jazz pub and like go out the back door, and then there's a hidden entrance for a vampirically themed speakeasy.
And the key to get in is only $20.
Yeah, there is a door fee for that place.
Yeah.
There's not if you go to the Dungeon or Santos.
Just valid ID, readily available.
No, kick it back up to Jay.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Guys, like Bones, Wrath, Deadsled Funeral Company, we can't thank you guys enough for taking time out of your evening to hang out with us. Such an extended amount of time, man. Like, it was really insightful. It was a really great time with great conversation. And the thing that Angel and I end our every show with that is really valuable to us is that you guys had a good time. You felt respected. You liked the questions that were asked of you, and you felt that this was worth your time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, completely. Totally agree.
Awesome, man. We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
One more time, let everybody know where you guys can be found.
Literally anywhere on any streaming platform, on all of the social medias, even the obscure ones, except Twitter. We don't do Twitter. But anywhere. But the best place to find us is go to deadsledfuneralcompany.com. From there, you can access everything that we're on. Our music is on there. Our merchandise is on there. All of our show dates are on there.
Pictures of us looking cute are on there.
Yeah, there's photo gallery, video gallery. You can buy tickets straight from our website to any of our upcoming shows, and I constantly update it so that all of our upcoming shows are listed on there. I'm having a little bit of trouble with one of them showing up on our website right now. But other than that, all the show dates are on there. Deadsledfuneralcompany.com. Just go there, and from there you find all of our social media, everything. It's all in one place.
Awesome. Super great. Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate you guys. Guys, go out and check Deadsled Funeral Company out on their live tours. Go out and support them. Check their merch if you can't make it out to a show, because nothing's going to make them more stoked than seeing their buttons or their shirts on people as they cruise around town in all the various towns that they live. So don't be shy about supporting the band and rocking their merch. We've got merch of our own. You can message either myself or Angel about how to get a hold of that, and show us a lot of love. Fans, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys and all the love and support that you guys have put into this show for over 3 years now. So make sure that you like and follow and subscribe to the Metal Summit on Facebook and on YouTube. But we've also got Instagram and Twitter and TikTok as well. You can follow Angel at Angel Alamo 78 on Instagram, as well as his Facebook page as well. And you can find me at Just Say R&R Junkie on Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook as well. So by all means, reach out to us. We love to communicate with our fans and find out what you guys like and what you guys like to support. We appreciate you guys so much. We'll make next week's announcement. We'll come out over the weekend, so make sure you're following our socials to see who we've got for next week. It's going to be another great show. On behalf of Deadsled Funeral Company, we appreciate them so much. We're going to let them continue on with their evening. And on behalf of Angel Alamo and myself, thank you guys so much. Have yourselves a great weekend. Be good to each other, be kind to each other, and just have a great rocking weekend. And we'll see you guys in a week for another great episode. Thank you again, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you, fans. We'll see you guys later.